She was stuck, unhappy, and didn't feel aligned with her life. But she knew something had to change. In this episode, I'm sitting down with Leah, and we're talking about what it actually looks like to go from feeling stuck, confused, and disconnected from your path to finally gaining clarity and starting to build a life that feels right. This is someone I've worked very closely with, and what you're about to hear isn't surface level. You're going to hear the doubts, the fears, the resistance, and what actually shifted for her. If you've been in that place where you know something isn't right, but you can't fully see your next step yet, you're going to see yourself in this. Before we get into this episode, I want to give you a little bit of context. One of the core principles behind the work that I do is the idea of truly knowing yourself. To know what you are and what you are not. And that kind of clarity doesn't come from thinking about it. It comes from lived experience, from the patterns in your life, and from the way your reality has been speaking to you this entire time. And most people don't realize that the answers they're looking for have already shown up. Just not in the way that they are taught to recognize. Every person has a unique path, shaped by their experiences, the things that worked, the things that didn't, the moments that felt aligned and the ones that didn't. When you start to look at your life from that lens, it stops feeling random. It starts to feel like a pattern you can actually understand and work with. That's where I come in. What I do is help people get clear on that path, connecting the dots between who they've been and what they've gone through and where they're meant to go next. Taking what might feel like confusion or even failure and turning it into direction. And through these conversations with my clients, what you're hearing are real examples of that process happening in real time. So if you're listening to this and you feel like you're in a moment where something isn't fully clicking yet, or you're trying to understand what your next step is, this is meant to give you a deeper perspective on what that process can look like. Let's get into it. So I want to ask you, where were you at that time when we first met? Like, what was going on in your life?
I had just started a job in insurance that I absolutely hated, was struggling to find a job in my field, and even the field I picked didn't feel like it was really meant for me. I was more so picking it out of fear.
And what kind of insurance is this?
It was employee benefit insurance.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was doing energy work already. I was meditating. I could feel that it was kind of off, but I also felt that fear of like, I don't think I could do anything else out of necessity for paying bills and stuff. So yeah, just like lots of feelings of being stuck, but also like knowing that I was stuck at the same time, that I should get myself out of it.
Did you have a job switch in between that?
I always do like some clients on the side, but not anything like stable. It was more like gig-based work. I think especially after we met, and seeing you like doing what you love and having your career change from being like in dental school to then, you know, doing nails and like following what lit you up, like it gave me a lot more hope, I guess.
Yes.
That like, why can't I just do what I want to do?
Another key thing that I remember is your mom coming to the appointment. Well, I want to see, like, my daughter's been lighting up lately, and she felt like she had a part of you back.
Before meeting you, my entire spiritual practice was very tight-lipped because my family was very Christian and very judgmental of everything I've done in my life up until that point. Like even my college degree, they were not happy with the major I picked, and it was a whole thing. So,
And what did you pick?
Computer science. They didn't know what it was, so I think that was definitely like half of their resistance is they didn't realize what it was. They wanted me and my sister to be doctors.
Okay.
And my sister was already on that track. And I was like, no. I kind of did it behind their back as well because I knew they weren't going to be happy with me changing. So yeah, I kept everything very tight-lipped because I was afraid of that judgment. And I was like, this stuff is working for me. But then I think you also know, like being a practitioner, like you start... It's a different type of isolation where you start to feel like you don't relate with most people because you're just going through something way different.
Yeah.
So I feel like I came over like the big hurdle of my depression by going into spirituality, but then there was like this other like bubble that I almost put myself in because I had nobody to talk to about this stuff for like 8 years before we met. I had the dream that I met you, and it was really lucid, very realistic. I was more in that observer sort of role, and I saw myself in a car that I did not recognize because it was not my current car. I was driving through all these really tall trees, very foresty looking area. And it was really far away. And I was like, I have no idea where I am. And I go up to this townhouse. I park my car, go inside, and there's this room covered in pink. There's like a pink little table and everything. And you have your whole like nail set up that was all pink. And we started talking. And then we were hugging. And then a little bit extra happened after that, but it's always been a sign to me that we're very like deeply spiritually connected. And I think like our check-ins throughout this like 6-month period of still being like in that loop, I guess, of like, what do I do, really helped, because I feel like a lot of our messages that we would get through the tarot readings and stuff was a lot of confirmation for me, and I kind of still struggle with that, like, is this real or is it in my head? Being a Libra rising, I've always, and I have a lot of placements in my 4th house too, around like love, family, that type of stuff. So I feel like my whole life there's been this spotlight on like having a man, and then also just the way I was raised, it's like a man was always very important. So one of our readings, you told me that a man is not going to save you, something along the lines of that. And like that has always kind of stuck with me now. And it helped me, like, I already had some pretty good boundaries with men, but it helped me hold those boundaries up. And not let people walk all over me. And it was easier for me to cut people out if I felt that it wasn't aligned. The thing is, like, that last little bit of clarity almost, because like once I get that last little bit, then I feel like I can sink into it and like hold my place. But without that, then I still feel like I get stuck in my head and I start asking more and more questions until I get confused. Yeah, so that helped with my career a lot too. During this time, I was still applying to computer jobs, and I was really enjoying doing the energy healing, seeing clients, doing all the conventions. And I was like, how can I make this my life? Pretty much just looked at what you were doing. Like, you're a spiritualist, but you also do nails. That's like so smart, because you are like following your light, and you're also giving something a little bit more tangible for the people that aren't as spiritually in tune. They don't always like feel it, and it doesn't sink in. So to give them something a little bit more tangible where they can see it. Then it was that great bridge. So
no, you worded it perfectly. It really is, because right now we are in a very crucial time in our world where people are awakening to the spiritual aspects. What are you doing right now? What are you in school for?
Right now I'm in massage therapy school. I actually 6+ years ago, when I started doing my own method of energy healing, I started as self-massage. And I would just feel like where the energy pathways were leading me and where it felt kind of clogged, and I'd massage those muscles. And then I would do it on my pets. I'd do it on my friends. And then I kind of like stopped. When I started doing Joe Ray too, I just started doing their method. And then when I was thinking about career, I was like, how can I like do this energy healing and also give them a service? And instantly massage came into my head, and I was like, no, like there's no question that this is what I'm meant to be doing.
It's perfect. I mean, you work with your hands, energy work, and then on the human body, literally part of your future. Usually there is hints of it in your past. So the fact that you started doing energy by self-massaging, isn't that interesting how it comes full circle? What does your family think about it?
This was the biggest shock of a lifetime to me. They have been so supportive. And like my entire life, I've strived for their like approval in some form or way. And then I had to detach myself from that. So when I decided to tell them about this, I completely expected this huge fight to break out, because that's always what has happened in the past whenever I've tried to do something for myself more or change my major. And I feel like my family's always been super
like involved.
They've been very involved, especially in my career. So I was very nervous, and the amount of support I've gotten, like my mom's been helping me with little workshop things that I've been doing, some event booklets I'm making, a lot of like the advertising pieces she helps me with. My father was like the biggest shock to me because sometimes our relationship can be kind of rocky, and he actually hugged me and said that he was proud of me, and I was like, who is this person?
So has your parents received energy work or something with you?
Oh, yeah.
And how was that experience?
They asked me for energy work now, which is crazy because, like, I mean, I know a lot of my beliefs are kind of out there, and not everyone's going to believe that stuff, but I can't deny what I've been shown and what I've experienced.
Yes.
But I understand not everyone has had that. Even without having all of the very more out there beliefs, everyone that I've done the energy work on has experienced something that they cannot describe.
Right.
I feel blockages in certain chakras, I'll describe it, and then my mom will be like, oh, I felt that when you were working. Like, I saw this color, and I felt like a weight. Mm-hmm. And my dad has been a little bit more on the visual side instead of the feel side.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. He said he saw an angel.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow. And when I was young, there was a star in the sky that looked kind of like an angel. And he was like, do you remember that? And I was like, I do. And he's like, that's what I kept seeing. And I was like, it's funny you say that because I asked the angels to come and help me with healing you.
Oh my gosh. And then he really, like, from that moment.
Oh yeah. He asks me all the time now. He's like, I'm not feeling so good today. I'm like, I got you.
I love that. I love that because we also, like, shifted any fears or projections that we may have had within just the spiritual energy work and things that you do. So now that your family really experienced it for themselves, it's like they can't deny what they felt. Is there anything about what you do that's difficult?
There's been a few speed bumps along the road for sure. I feel there's this spiritual exhaustion aspect, and it's unlike, like, it's not an exhaustion where you could just sleep and it's over with. It just kind of lingers until you fully are able to, like, detach. And I notice that usually happens when I see many clients in one day. Yeah.
So then what do you do to make sure that Leah is good?
Lots of self-care. And it kind of depends, because every time I do self-care, I like to switch it. But I'll do lots of cleansing, protection, and then I'll go into more like body care type things, making sure I have enough free time, even if it's just like sleeping. I'm just being very mindful of where I'm putting my energy, especially when I don't have a lot of it.
So is there any fun plans? Where are we going in the future?
I just bought all of my startup stuff for having my own massage business. So I finally have like a final version of my business plan. I'm going to start marketing, getting my name out there.
Yes.
I'm doing more events now. Some conventions I've signed up for.
Yes.
So a lot is on the horizon right now.
What would you like to tell a viewer listening?
I would say have more faith than you have fear, because you could work through fear. Anxiety, I feel, is very tied to the future, and I struggled a lot with depression, which I felt like was mostly tied to the past. And once I got over that depression hurdle, then it was just all replaced with anxiety. And now I feel like I've been fighting that anxiety back, and I still have so many fears, especially being new to all of this still, and now taking that extra leap. But I can't imagine going backward. And I think the more you go up against it with having greater faith in yourself and your abilities, the more you see the rewards of that.
Yes, I agree. And anxiety is natural human emotion, but it's just what you do with it.
Yes.
So yes, faith in yourself, overcome your fears, and it gets easier and easier.
It does.
And I swear, when you're on your path, things just come to you. Things just open up.
In the most random ways.
Yeah. Something that you can't even probably imagine. So, don't try to control your reality. Just let it unfold. Well, thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Leah's story is exactly what I mean when I talk about clarity. Nothing in her life actually changed until things became clear. And once they did, her decisions changed, her direction changed, and everything started to move. If you're watching this and you feel like you're in the same place, stuck, overthinking, unsure of what to do next, it's not that you're incapable. It's that you haven't seen it clearly yet. And that's the work I do. I help you get out of your head and into real clarity so you can actually move forward in your life. I offer private readings both online and in person. And if you're interested in the Psychic Nail experience, you can DM me on Instagram. Everything is linked below. I'll see you in the next episode.